Oh, yes, I'm. Yeah, well done, TCRS. I thought you'd be off doing your own thing somewhere else. I'm just trying to minimize trash that could be jumping around here. Uh, I need to get some gloves first. Yep, wrong box. Sorry, Greg. TCRS just beat you out there. Only by a few seconds. Get some gloves on. This is the Toshiba that I pretty much assigned to death last night in my great disgust. But I thought I need to clean up my workshop, which means I have to reassemble laptops, which means I thought I'd give it another shot and have a look what's going on. Hey, Handy Parts. Hey, Krajay. Ooh, till I can stab people and consume adult beverages. Oh, how long before your birthday then? And since when does getting older mean you can stab people? Sounds interesting. Hopefully we don't get too many drops today. I'm still dropping a hell of a lot of frames. 6.6%. God damn. I think the internet just sucks tonight around here. Oh well, see how we go. Hey Lisa, nice to see you. And I also need some paper towel. Will this do? Yeah, this will do. Remnants. Service reports. Boo. No fun. Paperwork sucks. It's got to be done, but it's no fun. Alright, now, as those of you who were here last night will know, this machine was giving us 100 degrees centigrade, and then we checked the fan assembly, and it was clear that, there's a bit of dust on it, but there was nothing, and it rotates and all that. So I thought I'd check it anyway, and now this, what I unveiled here, this is an example of too much paste and not properly applied and all that sort of stuff. So I've just pulled this off, and check out how chunky that GPU pasted up. We've got 2 layers on there. The previous one hasn't even been cleared off. And I can see from the patterning here that this did not, a great portion of it was not actually done. So if we're lucky, we may be able to bring this laptop back to life. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I am. So I need to get my napkins and my cleaning, and I really am not prepared. I wasn't thinking of doing a stream. I just happened to pull this apart, and then I went, "Whoa, what the hell?" And I thought I better get it started then. So I'll just go get my other stuff. Alright. Now I use a combination of these paper rolls. These are bio-recycled ones or whatever. They're pretty good. They actually do absorb some stuff. Okay. And then I have these napkins, which I buy in bricks of 500 for a couple of bucks. I tend to like the napkins for wiping off the excess here, and the roll stuff I like for putting under devices. Oh man. Yeah, this here has perhaps half a tube of stuff on it, and this is what I would genuinely consider as excess amounts of thermal paste. Whereas the other day when I was doing thermal paste, there was more than required, but it wasn't to the extremes that this person has gone to. I think the worst thing here is that they didn't clear off the previous stuff beforehand, and it's just a great big cluster mess. You missed your nemesis Chris Long doing surgery on iPhone CPU early to fix a break in their line. Ooh, I'll have to go and look at that one, Greg. Actually, yeah. As for my scope, it is still sitting in Brisbane, or at least according to the tracking. Now, for those of you who aren't Australian or don't know Australia's geography, which I totally understand, I mean, yeah. Brisbane is about 1,300 kilometres south of here. It's the capital city of the state that I'm in, the state being Queensland. And you can get up here, if you drive, you can get up here in a day. Normally, along the east coast of Australia, I can have a package, order it one day, and it's interesting, I can't get this off. Normally you can get this mylar layer off. And you can get it the next day, around about midday. But I have a horrible feeling that after being rapidly dispatched from the United States, getting past Honolulu in Hawaii, landing in Sydney and getting up to Brisbane all in record time, they've handed it over in Brisbane to someone who's probably going to truck that bloody thing up here, that 1,300 kilometres. And the trucks can do it overnight, but it's pretty rare. So it's kind of annoying that for the price I paid, which was $300 US in postage, that they would insult me at the end by trucking it up, when I know that they can easily air freight it up. No. Does the thermal paste have beryllium oxide? I actually don't know. The old one might, but this stuff here looks more like some sort of aluminium oxide type paste. Oh man, let's just, yeah, this is like Betty Crocker frosting. Yum yum yum. Don't worry, I'm not going to eat that. I'm not that stupid. I wouldn't eat that for thousands of dollars, because I can be pretty sure it'd have millions of dollars worth of damage to my body over time. Alright, get that off. Essentially what the problem here is that they put on a lot of paste, which is half the problem. But the worst bit is when they put it back down, it didn't remain wedged, or it didn't remain compressed between the CPU or GPU and the heatsink itself. Instead, what happened is they let it go and it created a void. So at least that's my theory based on what the separation pattern looked like. Like I said, you can put an excess amount of paste down, as long as you squeeze out the excess and you're left with a nice sort of sealing layer. But judging by the colours, they just went, oh, I've taken the paste off. I've taken the thing apart. Let me just squirt some more paste on there, just for good measure. Have you ever used Arctic Clean? I use IPA. Yeah, that's all I use, IPA. The Arctic Clean is so much nicer. Yeah. My ultrasonic made it 1,300 miles in 17 hours, somehow by truck. Crikey. Or were they driving a Nissan GTR truck or something? That's pretty impressive to get that far by truck. What's the speed limits around that area? I mean, over 1,300, I suppose you go through several states. But I always thought the United States was something like 65 mile per hour or something like that, maybe 70. I don't know. Do you have unlimited speed highways or autobahns? I suppose you don't have autobahns. Personally, I don't mind using IPA, does a good enough job. The real limitation here is the napkins. The porous structure does not really pick up as much. Hello, Raj Vaswani. Don't remember if I asked this question before. is nothing to do with your current video. I would like to know if you could advise on any software machine for hard drive data recovery. Raj, I use a combination of things, but my main program is DD Rescue. And if you want to get to DD Rescue, if you look in the description of this video, you'll see a link that goes off to a page on my website, and down the bottom section you'll see links to all the different recovery tools that I use. I use coffee filters instead of paper towels for cleaning CPU and HSF. Oh, okay. How do they go price-wise? I always thought coffee filters are a bit expensive. Gugon. It's just... Oh, Gugon is the citric acid type cleaner. Yeah, I know the stuff you're talking about. Oh. So I don't think the fan is at fault here. It looks like the fan obviously had been cleaned before. Someone else had a good go, so they've cleaned the fan out. And they thought, oh, that maybe didn't work, and they put paste, redid the paste. I'm going to pull this foil off. This is not really doing anything right now. I'll just put Captain tape on it. Captain tape isn't perhaps quite as suitable for the task as the foil, but that foil is crap. They drive in teams, and the truck speed limits are usually 65 to 75 miles per hour when the cops are around. Hey, Metaman 2112. So, anyone watch Lewis's stream today? I suppose a few of you did. I was happy to see that he managed to work out how to mirror the board in the open board view without me being around. I was half expecting him to curse at me again. Nothing wrong for IPA except the amount of force you have to apply. I find that if I have to clean, very minimal force is required. Buy the generic filters. I'm pretty sure premium filters matter for coffee. Yeah. Yes, if you're trying to impress someone the next morning or something like that, you want to make sure you've got the best filters to show how important you consider your coffee. I gotta go get my CPU paste. Lewis keeps getting trolled by working boards. Yeah, I saw that yesterday. He was copping a fair bit from working boards. Okay, come on, get out of the way, dust. Boom, boom, boom. That should do, and that should do. Just... It's probably about 1/10 of the paste that the other person applied. That'll suffice. No idea why my name's always red and yours isn't. Ah, I just dropped that. Hey Mako, I'm half waiting for Mr. Shruggins to turn up. He sent me these gloves. Now they look like normal anti-static gloves, but they're not. They've got nice sort of grip points here. They're like little ball beads of silicone or plastic or something. I tried them on. The only trouble is they're a size too small for me. My fingers are too long, and the webbing sort of stops up about here, which makes it near impossible for me to use properly. So I might buy myself a pair of those and see what they're like for general PC work. It's the thought that counts. Alright, let's get this sucker down. I like how it says press here. I don't know who put that there, it wasn't me. Okay, let's get this CPU into suction mode. Alright. I can feel when you wiggle this back and forth, you can feel when the paste, the heatsink, and the CPU have formed a nice strong vacuum seal, because it just causes it all to lock, and all of a sudden you can't really slide it back and forth anymore very well. And when you've achieved that, that's when you hold it down tight and then you screw it quickly as you can. Well, you have the opportunity to screw it. Yeah, that would have been fun. That would have been a hell of a cleanup for you there, TCRS. Clean up that sort of mess. Okay, that driver's too big for the... I don't have enough room for that driver. Let's have a look. Not you. Not you. God damn it. You'll do. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Sure, I hope that GPU is sitting down nice. There's not a lot of move on that. Raj, for mechanical failures, I'm sorry to say, but pretty much you're going to need clean room situation. Yeah, I was myself going to get a full outfit, like kind of like what Jason's got. I was going to get a laminar flow unit, all the head changing gear, all that sort of stuff. But in the end, I decided with the number of solid state drives coming into the market now, and hard drives are sort of going to dwindle out, and the fact that there's several other people doing that sort of clean room repair locally. Well, when I say locally, I mean in Australia. I just couldn't see the market sense into it. So I just now focus on using DD Rescue in a combination with my relay switching system. And yeah, most of the time I'm finding customers, they will say they want their data back and their data's invaluable, and yeah, they anything to get it back. And then you sort of go, well, it's going to cost you about $1,000 if you want to go clean room. And all of a sudden they're like, their data is not worth that much. They're like, oh no, it's not worth it. I find the threshold around here is around about $200, $250 before people are like, no thanks. So I can do the DD Rescue in combination with my relay switching and my hot swap drive bays and things like that. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do the DD Rescue attempt for 200 or so. No data, no fee sort of situation. And people are generally happy with that. And you've got to make them aware, though, when you do that, that look, if I do this and your hard drive has some sort of mechanical fault, then by doing the DD Rescue software system, you are going to degrade that drive to the point where it essentially will not be recoverable if they change their mind later and want to go with a clean room solution. If it's just bad sectors on the platters and things like that, DD Rescue is fine. There's a few drives I've had, they've had the click of death and other quirks, and you just sort of like let them run all night with a relay switching solution, and some of them will come back and you will get enough data off and the person's happy. But it's a risk, because I've had a couple of others where they get about 3/4 of the way through and then that's it. They just die completely because they've been subjected to too much physical torment with the relay system. And that's, you know, that's going to happen. It's a very real risk. But if the customer is aware of it and they still give you the go-ahead, then yeah, that's it. Because they're not going to pay the $1,000 or $1,500 for the clean room, regardless of how much they think the pictures are worth. That it's not. As soon as it comes to asking for the money, they clam up and they change their mind. It's invaluable if you'll retrieve it for 20 years. That's pretty much it. TCRS, instead of using that silver thermal paste, you just sort of use solder paste, and then it'll make a good bond. And then if it gets too hot, it'll just like melt it, and it'll blob off in little balls off the side, and problem solved. This live stream. No, I'm not showing any drop frames. Sorry, PB Henry. In this case, it looks like it's actually you. Alright, so now we're going to run this and see if we have any slightly better success. I'm wondering if I can... Where's the... I was going to see if I can run this out of the chassis. I'm probably not going to be able to, which is going to suck. I like laptop boards that I can just have on the bench like this and hook up to power, test and run before I put them back into the chassis. No, can't have it on this thing. No. This one's got 1 trillion screws. Sorry, this one has 1 million screws, and I have to test each and every single one of them. Because I'm a laptop doctor. Yeah. Can't believe the bullshit these marketing people try to get away with. And the thing is, so many people buy that, buy into that gullibility thing. It's terrifying. Yeah, low melt solder for CPU thermal compound. I agree. That we should promote that solution. I wonder how many poor bastards would actually go with that. Probably the same people who are trying to get a laptop running after they've destroyed their iPhone from the iPhone iCloud unlock solution that Jessa gives. It's the same sort of people, and I'm sorry, but I find it very hard to feel sorry for people like that. Yeah, I don't believe in scamming people. I don't believe in unduly doing that sort of thing, but at the same time, there's a certain threshold of awareness that perhaps needs to be upheld. I should be careful about what I'm saying. Chances are I'll be one of the poor bastards that get caught by something else. It's like, oh, use oxalic acid for this and it'll make your life better. And I go, oh, that sounds alright, I'll use that. And then I die. Well, make sure you have a shower in hydrofluoric acid. It'll clean you good. And I'll get out of my hydrofluoric acid shower and I feel a bit funny. And then all of a sudden all my bones in my body just melt. There we go. God damn. You know, I generally like Toshiba laptops, I really do. They're usually fairly open in their design and all that sort of stuff, but this one, I reserve judgment on. This one I am not having fun with at all, not even the slightest. You're a pain in the ass. Alright. Hallelujah. Let's just get the minimum hooked up and try our luck. See if we're doing any better than 100 degrees. I don't know what you are. You're probably something irrelevant. Come on, don't be difficult. I'm not a fan of these particular FPC connectors because, well, I shouldn't say it's not the FPC here per se. Actually, it is. These ones here, they're press in, pull out. There's no latch on them. So you're depending entirely on the rigidity of the flex itself, the cable. And after a couple of insertions, it loses that. And so when you try to push it in, it just buckles away. Ah, you're freaking useless. There's almost nothing you can do. You try to use tweezers on that, I can guarantee you'll tear through the FPC. Okay, you're good. Okay. Yeah, 100 is average for a razor. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to start dealing with razors, PB Henry. I mean, all the dramas you seem to be running through with them, I'm like kind of scared off them a bit. I mean, as it is, I'm already half having a heart attack with Lewis having sent the 3332 to me. I mean, that's just a really simple solder job. What do you belong to? Nothing important, I dare say. Okay. I think I need the top deck for this one. Yes, I do. I hate it when I need the top deck. And it's a... There we go. That one actually went in alright. And so did that one. Blessed be. Alright. Plug in the power. Plug in the other power. And I need my trusty Ubuntu boot. I'm also going to need a keyboard and mouse. Fan spins. Okay. I'll do. I'll have a look at chat while this is coming up. They're not too scary, only a little. Oh, alright, okay, that's nice. Yeah. I find that's actually the hardest thing with this job is pushing through that fear barrier. And I think the fear barrier gets a little thicker and a little taller every time you have a bit of a disaster. Oh, for goodness sake, come on. Okay, it's booting up. I was fortunate that my first 4 or 5 MacBook Pros were fairly easygoing on me. They were fairly simple, particularly in the mechanical disassembly process. But I have to say this 820-332 is a bit more of a pain in the ass. Okay, let's see what we're doing here. Well, we're idling at 30 degrees. Now, the ambient here around at the moment is it's probably about 26, 27, so it's a good start. I've got one core sitting at 38, so let's see how we go when we burn everything. Burn P6, let's go, and let's do about 8 of those. Mako, no, this is the same one that I had a great big fussy hissy fit over last night. Yeah, PV Henry, when that confidence takes a hit, it's really difficult. And I've found that more often than not is my biggest issue when it comes to handling devices. I wouldn't take on iPhones or iPods for a tremendous amount of time. And then eventually I was fortunate that there was a good person in town, and they just said to me, look, yeah, here's all the stuff. Um, if you ruin the phone or the iPod, that's no problem. You know, that's okay, but just give it a go. And when that pressure's off your back and you give it a go and you have success, then it's fine. But you see, when you're dealing with these sort of like the MacBook situation, and it's someone's equipment, someone's data, and even if you've worked with other of the same sort of type, the fact that it's different and new, yeah, it's where being younger can, I think, often be very helpful because you don't have all that um, emotional baggage or anxiety baggage hanging over your head. But of course, some people are just naturally able to shrug that off and get on with things. The good news here is we are on 74, 80 degrees and we're running 100%, so we've actually solved that problem. It wasn't the heat pipe. I've got to stop blaming heat pipes for my own incompetence. Henceforth, this machine looks like it will come back to life. Let me just flip it upside down. I'll probably fuck it up by doing this. Whoops, sorry, not allowed to swear on YouTube channels. This is a family-approved channel. Notice Lewis doesn't swear as much either anymore. Jester, on the other hand. Let's see. You can see the graph here. So yeah, I'm on 77 for core 0, 84 for core 1. And you can see it's peaked up here. And that's pretty good going. Now if I'm sorry it's upside down. You just have to live with it. Life sucks. Get over it. Okay. I'm gonna kill all the burn 6 processors and see how quickly she drops. And already we're down into 60, 50. We're good. We're good. We solved the problem. Ah, crap. Chris is in here. Piss off, Chris. No, just kidding. I hear you did a CPU today. I'll have to go have a look at that for solving the NAND problem. So we're 47, and the GPU must be okay too. This here is typically this temperature 1. It's unlabeled. It is fairly typically the GPU. And so it peaked out at 80. That's more than acceptable. Alright, now I've got the fun of putting this back together. Bugger. That's going to be fun. Alright, shut this down. I've still got to test the hard drives on this, but I'll do that once it's put back together. Yeah, it's a bit of luck there. I'm glad I took that. Glad I took the heatsink assembly off. So as soon as I pulled it off and saw all the triple layers, or actually it was double layer of Betty Crocker icing on there, I thought, yeah, that could actually be the fault. Alright. Now we've got to put this thing back together. Now remember from last night that a great majority of the screws in this are incorrectly placed. And now I'm going to have to be going by memory. I know this one here is definitely... Hold on. Ah, man. This is going to suck. Sucky, sucky, sucky. Sucky. Who's Chuck? So, has anyone tried using a DLSR camera instead of a microscope camera? Just kind of curious, that's all. I need a depth gauge. No MH. No, Greg, there is on the bottom of the main bathtub, but not. Okay, that's a full through one. At least not that I can see. Let me have a look. It might be on the screen printing stencil or whatever. No, just says hole 13. That's great. That's really useful. Hole 13. You didn't check every capacitor and ensure they're operating perfectly. Oh, I checked the electrons. Doesn't that count? I can't remember which way this was orientated. It's got to be just being stupidly put out here. I can guarantee you there's going to be a couple of screws I get wrong in this. What am I going to do? As long as I don't have an excessive length one in a short hole, I'm sure I'll be okay. Although by the nature of the fact, if I use the ones in the wrong hole, I'm probably going to end up something in the short hole. Okay, you can take another one of these. Good thing it doesn't have a DCM board. Poor Tim. Ah, Tim, man, that was torture watching you go around in circles like that. I know it happens. I know when you're on a live stream, you get flustered and hey, there's something here. There's something there. It looks like flux. Why? Why is there flux there? It's been resoldered. Oh God, that's so funny. Tim, you're gonna love this. This is an ISL 6262. And someone's had to do some rework there for some reason. That's funny. It's always the ISL, eh? Hopefully no long screw damage. Yeah, the only long screw damage that happens on these things is just through the plastic chassis. Thank God. Seriously, why would you solder that and not clean up your flux? Just looks like they touched it up or something, so I don't know, maybe it was a factory level fix. Because the flux did look similar to the stuff I'm seeing on all the reflow residue. And given that it's an old board, it's entirely plausible that back then they did pull them off the line if they failed and just did a rework on them rather than waiting till they're fully assembled and then going, oops. It's weird amp scope. Magnification looks shit. Yeah, huh? Yeah, I'm a little aggro about the fact that it didn't turn up yesterday. And I really hope they don't screw me around, because in this hick country town, we have... goddamn, what length are you guys going to be? We have the country show on, and that is a public holiday just for this town on Tuesday. And the neighbouring town, Townsville, where the Powerpuff Girls live, does not have that. So it's entirely plausible that if they want to be real assholes to me, is it'll arrive in Townsville. You need to be an extra long screw. It'll arrive in Townsville and they'll want to ship it out to me on Tuesday, but then they'll say, oh, the town's shut. And then I won't get it till Wednesday. Now that's really going to piss me off. As yeah, I do not enjoy the show around this place. Yeah, as a kid the show was interesting, maybe, when you had nothing else in life. But these days the show is just sort of like a roving band of disease spreaders. It's like the coming of the plague every 12 months. It could be coincidental, it could be causal, but within a couple of weeks of the show arriving, we always seem to have a outbreak of random diseases. You are way too long. What are you coming from? Yeah. So yeah, not a fan of the show. End of story. Oh wow. That Captain Tape or whatever it was is so old, it just... Either someone got a bit vigorous with it and tore it in half. Laptops this old, I have mixed feelings about. They're usually always from the era where parts weren't quite yet, how could you say, standardized enough or shrunk down enough and things like that. And as a consequence, there's a lot of hack job parts going on, and yeah, things just not quite as neatly done as they are nowadays. Let's see if I can stab myself in the guts here. Okay, how about the finger? My tape's a little bit big. Tough. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when my tape comes for you? Bad tape, bad tape. Alright, that one's done. Why do I get a feeling I'm missing something? YouTube. No. Yeah, call the crocodile. Oh man. Paul Hogan never really sort of picked up after Crocodile Dundee. It was a bit of a sad little case of things just going downhill for him after that. I mean, prior to that, it was pretty popular in Australia, but then I think the whole Crocodile Dundee thing just kind of, yeah, changed the man. This one I don't get. Why is... What is that? It's blank. That's marvellous. There's a hole here that goes to nowhere, and it's even got the letter A on it. Is Crocodile Dundee a national hero? Absolutely not. Nope, nope, nope. National hero? I suppose it depends on who you ask, but no. I'd sooner say Steve Irwin did more for Australia than Paul Hogan did. I mean, Paul Hogan did well for the tourism side back in the 80s, 90s, early 90s with his shrimp on the Barbie type stuff. But other than that, he became a bit of a national embarrassment. I shouldn't really be too harsh. I mean, I don't know what the guy went through. I think what happens a lot of the time is these guys get famous and they move over into the United States, and then they think they're going to keep with that fame. And it's more of a flash in the pan type thing, and before they know it, they're struggling to buy 2-minute noodles for their meals. Okay. Ah! Oh, wrong mouse. Idiot. Just reading back here. Cut out a bit of cardboard, the same size as computer, and then when you use a pen to draw just about how the motherboard sits. And by the way, hi Nate Parker. Then you remove screw. The trouble we had here, David. Normally, your method's perfectly fine. The trouble we had here is that a prior person has been to this machine and they already had mixed the screws up severely to the point where I just can't. Mr. Schwaggins, I was just talking about you earlier with your gloves that you were kind enough to send to me. And there's one small problem with them. They feel quite good when you're gripping things, but the finger lengths are a bit too short for me. So I might give these to my wife so that she can disassemble the computers on my behalf. Alright. So unfortunately, in this particular situation, I believe we're going to end up with a case of I'm going to need to use perhaps a few less screws. It is an old machine. I don't like to do that, but I also don't like to put screws through main boards. Okay, you and you. Okay, 2 to go here. I'll use 6.5s for those. Actually, I should probably use 6.5 for that one too. 8s do tend to be more for the chassis. God damn it. Okay, maybe I don't get a choice here. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Schwaggins, I thought that might have been the case. And certainly, like I've used you know how you get the cotton gloves? The nice sort of like, if you're working at some art place or whatever and you get those cotton gloves. And I tried them and they had the problem that those gloves that you just sent solve, which is the grip issue. But unfortunately, yeah, it's just a size problem right now. So I'll get the next size up and see how that goes. That probably will work. But yeah, the sweaty hands thing is a big problem. Even now, in this weather, it's still too much of a problem. My goodness, this keyboard's connector's giving me a grief. I don't know if I believe you're in. I may leave you. I will not put the top cover on until I confirm that the keyboard works. ESD safe wool gloves. What is that? You just like shove my hand into a sheep and... What the fuck? What's going on there? Okay, you don't want to go in there. I would have thought you would. Nope. I don't even know if half these screws are actually originally from this laptop. It's entirely possible that it was just a bit of a bitzer. They just threw anything and everything they could find. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 obviously short screws. Yeah, the courier guy that delivered it, it was interesting. It came via a courier that I normally never get, and the poor bastard was pretty confused. It's like I've got a delivery with Mr. Dildo Schwaggins, and I'm like, yeah. Oh, that's right. He turned up. He was like, oh, I'm looking for Mr. Paul Daniels, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's me. I said, I've got a package here. It looks a little weird. And it was packaged from RS, like it was a proper RS packaging. But yeah, it's still through the full guy a bit. I think the name on it, the sender name, was a bit of an oddity. What? How dare you say? Uh, 7 point. You're a 6.5. I can't believe that. One thing I would love for places like iFixit to do is to standardize on how they define a screw length. Because do they include the head, or do they only include the threaded shaft? Because when it comes down to things like iPhones, most of you will know that the difference between a 1.1 and a 1.2 can make a fair bit of difference, but that 0.1 of a difference can also be attributable to the head thickness. So yeah, a few times I've double checked, and then given up on the information that iFixit has, and then had to go and find the same iPhone and cross-check with my own calipers rather than dare risk theirs. TCRS banned Schwaggins. Well, I can understand that, but no, he's legit. He is legit. He's just a bit of much-needed humour in life. Okay, I'm grinding through something there. Probably something important. Oh well. 6.5. Oh, these are the ones that did not come out. That's right, remember those. They need to make a left-handed version of calipers, by the way. Because you see now, when I use these, it's all upside down for me. Because like, it's all right the way for you, but see, for me, I can't do this, not very easily, using my right hand and measure, and then when I read it, I'll be able to see it. For me, I've got to hold the calipers in my left hand, and yeah, so someone needs to make a left-handed version of calipers. It almost sounds like a fake request, but it's legit. I used to always have trouble in metalwork at school or woodwork because of that. Like, Mr. Daniels, why are you holding the calipers upside down? It's like, because I'm left-handed, sir. And then I'd be like, don't you think you should do something about that, Mr. Daniels? No, I can't really actually just change my handedness so easily. I mean, I may be dexterous with a lot of things, but I'm going to change just because the teacher, just some old 80-year-old guy decides that I'm probably the devil's spawn because I use my left hand. Oh well. The devil's spawn it is. Beware to make the laptop look immaculately closed as ever as have never been opened, because I read in the news that laptops that miss a screw or... Mr. Schwaggins, I would say it's most likely because you're a South Park character. Everybody knows that you can't take South Park seriously. South Park's one of those guilty pleasures I sometimes have, where I go to watch a bit, and if anyone walks around and sees me watching it, I sort of go, oh, I'm just flipping through the channels, man. Not really watching South Park. Same with Family Guy. So, oh, you watching the same Family Guy? No, 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 no. Oh, good, Lisa. Glad to see I have a kindred spirit there. But yeah, I am a mixed bag of left and right. Ah, crikey. I'm not even going to bother looking back over the video to see which way these go around. If it's wrong... No, you're definitely going to be that one. Normally it's fairly easy to tell which way the cables go simply from the bending. Like in this case, it looks like the black definitely has a longer reach. So we'll go for that. I don't doubt there's going to be several screws spare after this. Okay. Hefty beast of a thing too. Alright, I'm going to... Oh, that's right, I need to clean the underside of it. Oh, right, I see. I didn't realise that they are now coming down harder on the laptops for the... So what they're worried that if it looks like it has been opened, that it's suspect and could be a BOMB risk. That's good. Come on, get off. I should set up a cable system that gives me all the laptop power connectors just permanently on a some sort of umbilical cord that comes from above. Save me dicking around with these every time. Actually, let's see if the USB works on this side. Swap that actually. Well, it blinks, so it's a good start. Okay, Nate, we'll have a good day. Thank you. Well, Greg, I already put the cover on. Oh, sorry, I already tested it before, so I sort of consider that testing done, and I haven't screwed the keyboard down. Yes, Stray, the dusty speaker cones are a bit of a problem in the sense that it's, you know how it is, that matte surface on the cone support ring. I can never clean that out properly without risking damaging it, particularly with the laptop at this age. It is very crumbly, so if I go, I can already see it's crumbling away actually. So if I go brushing out that's just going to fall to pieces. Oh, sorry, I haven't even checked the keyboard. That was one thing we need to... Well, that worked. Cap locks, num locks. Go, man, go. This thing's fairly advanced for it. I've got Firewire, eSATA, HDMI, some connector no one gives two poops about, VGA, TouchWorks. Holy shit! Someone's got a disc in here, in the DVD drive. I can feel it. Come on, spit it out. What do you got? Creationisms. Oh my god. What have I done? What have I done? I'm just putting it through another burn test. Now I call it an @ sign. The hash key, yeah, shift 3 or whatever, that's different. I was sitting all good again. It was 70, 60, 70 degrees. So we're fixed. Hey! Which means I'll probably get $20 for this if I'm lucky. I'm going to charge a little bit more than $20 for it, but it's certainly not going to be paying for more than 2-minute noodles at the moment. The other thing is I've still got to check to see if the hard drives even function. You can waste a lot of time on these machines. The only reason I'm doing it is part of it because, well, a bit of a YouTube stream. The other part of it because I need to clear my desk and I had to reassemble the machine. I've got a much newer Toshiba that's come in that has an unknown fault. So I don't know if you guys are in the mood, but I can have a look at the second machine. Since this one here I'm pretty much done with, all I have to do now is put the hard drives through the testing. Oh, I better put this on, I suppose. It would be the right thing to do. You go the other way around. At least I think you do. Nope, you go this way. This is different to the usual Toshiba keyboard retention strips, funnily enough. It's got a lip on the back, which I don't normally encounter. Okay. Alright, we'll have a look at the second one. All because one person said, let's have a look at the second one. I'll just put in the short screws that are meant to be here. I think I'm one short screw short. It's a pain if you lose these short screws for the keyboards, because they are not the same thread as the short ones you use in the hard drives, the 2.5-inch hard drives and the short screws that go on the side. The Toshiba keyboard screws are not the same thread, and that catches out a lot of people. They think, oh, it's okay, I lost those ones, that's fine, I've got more of those. And the trick is you don't. You really don't. They're different. Okay, we'll put this to the side. That job is basically done, other than the hard drive testing. Pull you out of the wall. A little tiny bit of a cleanup, not much. Knife out of the way, screwdriver out of the way. Okay, looks like my glove's already busted through. Lovely. Alright, let's go get the other machine. Alright, looks like this person's a cat person. Judging from all the hairs, looks like it's a ginger cat. Let's try to bend this up a little bit. It's better. This one has come in with the problem of it's just generally slow, crashes, all that sort of weird behavior. So typical culprits can be it's an i7 and it's got Radeon graphics. Oh geez, great. Which means it could be a GPU issue, but I generally find that it's more often than not just the hard drive. Oop. Don't touch it. Sorry I can't show you the screen at the same time. In due time I'll get a better setup. So what I'm going to do is, first thing is, to boot off the Linux stick you have to tell the BIOS that you want to use the old style of boot. I'm pretty sure I should be able to make it so I can boot from a UEFI system. Oh wow, this one's already on CSM boot. That's weird. Alright, we'll go for that. Save changes, yeah, whatever. Oh, g'day Firephone, haven't seen you in a while. And right, let's boot Linux. Yeah, it's really not a... I do not like seeing these laptops with this combo. I mean, for God's sake, it's got an i7 in it. Why would you bother putting a AMD Radeon on there as well? I mean, really, why? It's not geared as a gaming laptop, this sort of thing. It's just... Okay, it's a Satellite Pro. But even still, why? Just stick with the integrated i7 graphics. Well, it's booted pretty bloody quick. Temperatures are looking good. Let's run the burn test. I'll have a look at what CPU this is. What do we got? We got an i7 4510U, 2 GHz. So yeah, 4th gen. How many cores has this thing got? 2 cores, 4th. Really? Oh, okay. And on the burn testing, we're only really hitting 60 degrees, so it's really not that. I'm going to go for hard drive most likely. So DD Rescue VF XO, no, X0, fuck me, sorry. Alright. See if I can show this. I've got on order a nice, god damn it, come on, scissor uh, scissor stand holder for the webcam. It was supposed to be here like a week ago, still isn't. Anyway, let's have a look at this. And the autofocus is naturally off. Yeah, I do need gloves again, I know. Just going to change the autofocus on this. It's probably going to try and pick me up in the reflection. That'll suffice. Alright. Okay, so we're running DD Rescue here. Oh, look, it's the hard drive. Okay, I'll give a rundown what's happened. When I run DD Rescue on an unknown laptop, and I don't want to chew the hard drive out if it has got a fault. I just want it to straight away sort of go, okay, I'm failing, then quit. So I run my DD Rescue. The V flag is just for verbose. F is to force, which is more of a habit thing than anything else for me. You need to force DD Rescue on certain devices. The key here is this XO thing, X0. With the latest DD Rescues, if it picks up any errors, it counts towards a tally of errors. And by saying XO, it's saying as soon as you get anything more than 0 errors, just quit. This is one of the features I actually had added a few years ago. The P16 is just to give me 16 rows of hex data of what it's reading. And here we go, we're reading the first hard drive. This is Unix type talk. And I was just dumping the data into the null. So we got to 4.5 gigs, and it struck an error. And it was doing all right prior to that. It was doing about 85 megabyte a second. And yeah, so it struck an error, so it quit out, which means now I'm going to have to tell the person that this needs a new disk drive. Fortunately, at least the drive is working at 4.5 megs. That I'm not sure where that is at the moment. That could be, depending on how it's partitioned, it could just be in the recovery area or the F disk, Marcel, SDA. What do we got? Yeah, the recovery environment, and oh man, I don't know how many blocks that is. God damn it! We'll do it a different way. Oh, bastard! Sudo gparted. Alright, let's have a look. Alright, so it is well and truly into the start of the Windows file system, and at 4.5 gig area, that if I'm not careful, that could be in the middle of the index tables, file allocation tables, and things like that. So I'm not going to try and mount that partition at all. And I see I'm now dropping frames again. Lovely. What I'm going to do is I'll just clone this drive straight away without even looking any further at the data. I should really shut this down actually. Shut down H0. Okay. So I'm going to clone it, and once it's cloned, then I can try and recover data or fix it or whatever, and that will be after I write it to a new replacement hard drive. Crap, now I've missed everybody's chit chat, so let me get back to this. You can see everything else in my reflection. Bloody great. How did that... Oh man, that Fire Phone, I have not even finished that touch laptop thing. I've got to spend the $150 and take it as a loss and get a proper one. There is a supplier in Australia, just said, Pinko. I've got to get around to it. Holy crap, Lewis is in here. Hello, Lewis. So, if you're not dropping frames, you're not streaming properly. Yeah, well, Lewis, it could be the fact that I'm using a MacBook too. So, yeah, there you go. There's my... I recovered this one. That one had been drowning in wine for a year. It had been sitting there, maturing for a year, and all it ended up needing was a ultrasonic clean. Oh, well, that was good. Anyway, so that's it. So this one's got to go off to get the hard drive recovered. What I'll do is at the same time, I'll message customer and say, do you want me to even do this? Because sometimes with these little apps, though it is an i7, sometimes I'll go, no, it's junk, I don't want it, toss it, don't worry about the data or anything. So let's see how it runs. And Lewis, I still haven't done that U8900 thing. I was hoping my microscope would arrive so I can get a better look at it, because unfortunately, I'm in my mid-40s, so I can't see as well as you youngsters. And if it doesn't turn up on Monday, I'm just going to have to do it with camera and taking photos of it and using this magnifying lamp that I've got, and just hope it goes well. The main thing I'm worried about is how to test it after it's done, but I think someone mentioned that all you have to do is just tap the computer, and if it craps out, then we're pretty good to know that it's no good. So, 12-inch MacBook is a clusterfuck. Yeah, that was fun. Alright. What did Jessa work on? I don't know. I didn't see her Jessa work on anything. Didn't know you have celebrity appearances in here. Nor did I. No. Who's our celebrity? Okay, move this camera back. Get that. Let's have a look at the umbilical cord hanging off the end there. That's not good. I really need to get my cameras sorted out here. I was half thinking of using a DSLR, like a Nikon or something like that, because I can get them fairly cheap and use that for the microscope camera. But at the same time, I'm worried about the rather extensive weight on the M-scope. So, gotta stop playing with that mouse. It's the wrong one. Alright, anyway, so that's it. I'm out of here. I've got my other work to do. I need to clean up this workshop as well, because it's turned into a complete trash. Yeah, it's completely trash in here. So it's the weekend, so I might have a chance of it. In the meantime, you all take care, have fun, and I'll see you next time.